Hello everybody, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nadia Tushari Panurliti and I'm here. I would like to present my topic that is cognitivism. In the list of the contents, I have 4 points. The first is definition. The second is description of cognitive action and thinking. The third, 5 main cognitive skills, and then the last, implication of cognitive theories. Let's move to the first point, that is definition. Well, in psychology, cognitivism is a theoretical framework for understanding the mind developed in the 1950s. This movement was a response to behaviorism. Cognitivists argued that the way people think impacts their behavior. Cognitivism became the dominant force in psychology in the late 20th century, replacing behaviorism as the most popular paradigm for understanding mental function. Cognitive psychologists have attempted to shed some light on the alleged mental structures that stand in a causal relationship to our physical actions. So cognitive is a thought process, namely individual ability to connect, assess, and consider an incident or event. Cognitive processes are related to level of intelligence which marks a person with various interests primarily devoted to ideas and studies. Cognitive theory or approach views the learner as a thinking being and an active process of information. Thus, learning is a process in which the learner actively tries to analyze the situation. So what is characteristics of the person? Now, cognitive is how the person acts, behaves, by responding to a problem they face. I have some descriptions of cognitive action or thinking based on Williams. He describes characteristics as being fast, attentive thinker, flexible thinker, and elaborate or detailed thinker. Let's recall a brief definition about cognitive and its stereotype. According to theory, cognitive is close to memory and intelligence, which ability will be decreasing as the person grows older. However, based on some research results, this is just cultural stereotype. A person is able to optimize their cognitive ability through their activities well, as long as the person look into their real potential and find new knowledge. The third point of my presentation is 5 main cognitive skills. These skills are useful for the teacher in developing the strategies, the method, and the way to teach in the class. The first main cognitive skill is read or reading. The second is learn or learning. The third is memorize. The fourth is logical thinking, and then the last is pay attention. The 5 main cognitive skills that we have here will relate or connect to the implementation of cognitive theories that we'll explain next. The last point here of my presentation is implication of cognitive theories. While the behaviorist theory of learning portrayed the learner as passive receiver of information, the cognitive view takes the learner to be an active processor of information. If we talk about the concept of second language learning, it is unavoidable to use psychological concepts Since our thinking on learning is influenced by the psychological knowledge that is part of the common understanding of human behavior in our culture, the psychological terms, such as remembering, skill, motivation, are adopted in the process of second language learning. Here, I would like to share two figures who advocated a cognitive theory of learning. The first is Ausable. Ausable advocates a cognitive theory by stressing on meaningful learning. She states two significant contributions in the development of language learning. For the first is advanced organizer. It is a mental learning aid to help students to the new information. The second is active nature of perception learning. That is, the teacher should find meaningful learning activities. In this approach, the students need to be active in learning by underlying, by completing missing words, by rewarding sentences, or by giving additional examples. Different from Ausable, who absolutely rejected the behaviorism, Brenner have tried to be more moderate. Brenner's three stages in his theory of intellectual development are: the first, enactive. It is where a person learns about the world through actions on objects. The second is iconic. It is when learning occurs through using models and pictures. The third is symbolic. The capacity to think and develop in abstract terms. Learning is a process in which the learner actively tries to make sense of the data, and learning can be said to have taken place when the learner has managed to improve some sort of meaningful interpretation or pattern on the data that they have. While here, the basic teaching techniques associated with cognitive theory of language learning may cover the following activities. The first we have here is problem-based learning or problem solving. The second is discovery learning. The third is cognitive strategies. The last is project-based learning. A teacher may combine one or two techniques that we have explained here. It is based on the cognitive skills of the students. In conclusion, cognitive code or approach which views the learner as a thinking being and an active processor of information can be applied to improve the learner's intelligence. In other words, the type of activities will make the learner to think more critically towards certain topics. That is the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching, and I would like to apologize for all the mistakes that I did. I'm waiting for your feedback and additional and some corrections. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.